Welcome everyone to the Darkside Mustangs A Squared Cup Series action from Talladega coming up here in just a moment. We are about to see qualifying begin here at Talladega Super Speedway. I'm Clayton Hardy. Thank you for tuning in on a Sunday evening. A lot cooler than what it has been the last few days all across the United States, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us. Everyone going to the drivers meeting at the moment, so not a lot to really talk about at the moment. You've seen a lot of tandems, a lot of small little packs running through practice as we got ready to bring you tonight's action. But now it's about to be time for the real thing. Looks like we have 25 drivers on hand for tonight's race as we get ready for qualifying. So stay tuned. Alrighty, qualifying getting ready to begin here. It's Seth Wansing that'll start us off in qualifying. Him and James Kerr, the first ones out on track. Getting ready for race 16 here. Qualifying underway now. The Seth Wansing on his second lap. It appears. Oh no, excuse me. This is their first lap. Timing through them on their first lap as soon as they crossed this, as soon as they exited pit lane because of how this track is shaped. But this is their first timed lap that they're completing right now. After this, there will be 10 races left in the regular season. Kerr set the fastest first lap, a 53.79, but you saw Wansing was running the upper lane on that first lap. Wansing now hugging the yellow line, building up momentum on that first lap typically results to the second lap being the faster lap. Wansing trying to go for a front row start. So Wansing's lap did get better, and Davey Houck almost matched it. Now we're going to look at Davey Houck's time. Davey Houck now running the bottom line, seeing if he can get a better lap here. And it was not good enough, so Wansing still holds on to provisional pole. Something we experimenting with. Number coding on the timing tower on the left side of your screen. Drivers that are locked into the next gen playoffs or the A Square playoffs with race wins are highlighted in the silver and black. Drivers trying to win a race to lock themselves in or trying to points their way into the A Squared playoffs are red and white numbers. So you can tell who's locked in and who isn't, because that will become more and more important as the season progresses here. We are on round 16 of the regular season. After tonight, again, 10 races remaining. And Talladega is one of those races where if you're in it, you can win it. Wansing currently still on the provisional pole. Davey Houck in second. Donald Ray third. Then it's James Kerr. Then Tristan Catania, Dustin Painter, Terry Gabbard, and Joshua Gaiman, top 8. Those are the 8 that have set times so far. More cars are setting qualifying times now. Gabbard goes up to 4th, but not enough to challenge for pole position as Gaiman takes pole away from Wansing. Does Catania have anything? It'd be really strange if he can gain 2/10 on this lap, but stranger things have happened. Around to the start finish line, Painter moved up to 3rd, Catania moved up to the 5th. Beamster sets a lap time. He's up to 8th. Jason Alexander in the 53, about to finish his first lap. Well, fastest, but he was on the outside line that first lap. Alexander finishes his lap and goes 6th fastest. Thomas Andrews went fastest on his lap, a 53.63. Moves Wansing out of the front row. Withers up to 8th. Here's Joshua Garrison. And the Coast Guard Ford Mustang up to 11th. Elliott Longenecker moves up to the pole position spot. 53.62 gets him ahead of Thomas Andrews. Does Garrison have anything? He's sitting a little low down to 14th. Round the tri-oval for the start-finish line. Garrison, is it good enough? It was not. There's Toby Estes. He's come to a stop. Wright moves up to ninth. It looks like that will be last cars to qualify. Eric DiMercurio, Noah Belleville, Jacob Blankenship, and Patrick Allen will not set a qualifying time here at Talladega. All right, time for the grid races. There's going to be 3 of them. There's going to be 2 heats and a last chance qualifier. Everyone will be able to make this race. It's a matter of where you end up starting. Alrighty, so here we go. 16th race of the season begins with the heat races. Joshua Gaiman and Seth Wansing will be on the front row here. Wansing in the 9, Gaiman in the 61. And then it's Davey Houck and Bradley Wright, row 2. Kristen Catania and Donald Ray make up row number 3. Ray won the only plate race up to this point. He won the season opener at Daytona. Looking to go 2 for 2 on plate tracks this season. He's definitely going to be a favorite in that number 5 machine for Team Outlaw. Row 4. Joshua Garrison and Mark Brewster. Brewster making his debut in the 00 machine. James Kerr and Toby Estes behind them in row number 5. Row 6 will be Noah Belleville and Patrick Allen. Belleville, the only person on a controller in the field. Patrick Allen, who I believe may not actually even be starting this race once again. May have just participated in practice and elected to give everyone mercy. Formation lap about to begin here as we get ready to go around this 2.66 mile track. The largest real-life superspeedway in the United States. Only other superspeedway comparable is Daytona National Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. All the tracks are 2.5 miles in length. Indianapolis 2.5 miles, Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania also 2.5, but they are not super speedways, as the speeds you see at those tracks, in stock cars at least, nowhere close to what you see here at Talladega and Daytona. It's a packed racing affair. Teamwork will make the dream work, especially once we get into the main event tonight. Everyone gets to start this race. It's just a matter of where it is you're going to start. Theory has it, the higher up you are, the better chance you are going to be able to avoid all of the melee. Also a great chance for people that have not yet won a race to win a race for the first time. Seth Wansing, the defending A-squared champion, has not yet won a race here in 2022. Can he break that streak here? Bradley Wright's been on the podium twice, but has not won a race this season. His teammate Toby Estes has. Davey Houck, likely another Bluegrass Bandits driver, has yet to win a race. Said the Sonoma was his best chance, but with 4 Bluegrass Bandits machines in this race, or in the main event tonight, maybe they can team right their way forward. Just happens to be a race where there's not many Team Sideswept cars in the field. A good chance for them to take advantage. Going around turn 4. Pace car will peel off, but they cannot go until after they go through the tri-oval. Talladega unique in the fact that the start-finish line is not on the tri-oval, as everyone so often says every year, every time they go to Talladega. But you can see there's the restart. The restart zone is in the same spot, just not the start-finish line. So an even longer wait. And we'll talk about that restart zone when we get into the main event. But they are racing now. Green flag in the air. Heat race 1 is now underway. Really good jump by Wanzing and Gaiman. Outside line stayed together just a little bit more. Outside line composed of Seth Wanzing, Davey Houck, and Donald Ray. Houck will bail on that inside line, give that outside line a little bit more strength. Top 3, all clear Gaiman. And now Houck's been hung out the dry. Only 4 cars behind him. Gaiman will secure 4th place here in front of Tristan Catania. Ray moving out, see if he can get any help. Gaiman didn't go with him. Houck will go with him. Garrison thought about it. That 44 Coast Guard machine, but ended up not doing so. Only 4 cars on that outside lane. Briley Wright, one of them. He bailed on Wanzing. But now we've got a 3 wide. Gonna be quick heat races here. Wanzing on the bottom leads the inside lane. Briley Wright on the outside. A little bit of side draft there between Wright and Wanzing. Toby Estes in that number 19, sitting a little bit further back. Kind of waiting and seeing as Wright led that lap. This is definitely a track where the last lap matters more than the first. As the cars thunder into turn 3 here. Ray provisionally had the race lead. Wright moved to the bottom in front of Wanzing. This will be sort of a place where you have to figure out when you want to make your moves. It's a great way to practice getting ready for the main event. How valuable is that starting position to them to start out this race? Ray leads that lap. 2 laps to go in heat race number 1. It's Ray, Houck, Wright, and Garrison. Garrison being dropped backwards. Toby Estes went on the outside. It's not going to get him anywhere. Wanzing looks to the outside now to help Garrison and Estes out. 3 cars in a line. Estes moved to the bottom, so will Wanzing, as Gaiman moves to the outside lane. He'll lose a spot to Catania. A little bit of pushing the pusher action between Catania and Wright. The 48 and the 18. Catania moves to the outside lane. He broke up the Bluegrass Bandits, who were 2 and 3 at the time. But Catania will receive little to no help. And there they go. That's Wanzing. That's Kerr. I believe that's Belleville. There's Belleville. There's Bradley Wright. They'll have to go to the last chance qualifier. Now a 2-car breakaway between Donald Ray and Davey Houck. Team Outlaw versus the Bluegrass Bandits now to win heat race number 1. Houck moves to the outside. Donald Ray does not move to defend it, as that is Joshua Gaiman hard in the wall. A hard bounce with that 61. He'll cross the line backwards. A horrible crash. He will miss out on a transfer spot by 1 position. Mark Brewster took it. But both cars looked absolutely horrible. Here's what happened. Oh, we're not gonna don't get to see it now. We're gonna look at it, but it looked like Brewster got turned into him. Alrighty, so now it's time for heat race number 2. John Smeal, Dustin Painter make up the front row. Smeal for Team Sideswipe, Smeal Racing Designs, and Dustin Painter will be alongside him in that number 65 machine. Jason Alexander will line up alongside Team Sideswipe's Ryan Pinnell in row 2. Tommy Withers and Terry Gabbard will make up row 3. Kevin Feemster and Tom Sears make up row 4. Then you have Jonathan Homebrink and Jacob Blankenship in row 5. Row 6 row 6 is one car. It's Eric DiMercurio in that number 57 machine. But all 11, it looks like, are present here for heat race number 2. We saw how crazy Heat Race 1 is. Heat Race 2 typically is crazier. So we'll see if anyone can put anything together here. Fixing the number plate for Jacob Blankenship, one of our race winners this season, number 85 machine. He is locked into the A-squared playoffs already, but extra wins are bonus points for the playoffs for that first round, the round of 16. Races like this, where bonus points could be an easy supply, you definitely want them. Right now, it's Painter and Smeal in the front row. Pinnell, Alexander, Gabbard. As we get ready to go, the pace car will turn into pit lane here, and we will be underway for heat race number 2. First lap, as they all come around turn 4 to complete lap 1. 3 wide in 2 rows. But it'll be John Smeal that leads the first lap. Alexander pivots to the outside lane. Withers will not go with him. That's 6. Oh, late move there, decides to go with him. But the 8 of Feemster stays with Smeal. Four cars in both the, well, there was 4 cars on the inside and middle lanes, but now everyone's drifted to the outside. The middle line has become the sucker hole. And that'll shove Withers and Terry Gabbard backwards. So Smeo drops down to 4th. Alexander and Hohenbrink at the front of the field. Two laps to go. 10 cars still in it. D. Mercurio, the only car lingering backwards here in that number 57 machine. Three wide for the race lead. Tom Sears. Mr. Where did he come from? Captain Consistency from Indy Arcs. To the outside. John Smeal to the middle. I'm sorry, John Smeal to the inside. That's Dustin Painter getting swallowed up and being pushed backwards by Sears, Feimster, and Gabbard as we start the final lap of heat race number 2. Sears got to make that Toyota Camry pretty large. Large enough to cover 4, and he's turned by Gabbard. And they're still wrecking as there's more wrecking. That's Feimster. That's Feimster and Hohenbrink. Alexander now in front. Jacob Blankenship. Jason Alexander in second. Withers in third. Dustin Painter will end up 4th. Can Alexander take it from him across the line? No, he will not. Blankenship wins Heat 2. And yes, the trend continues. Heat Race 2, a little bit more chaotic. And Eric Di Mercurio, by way of just surviving, not even full power here, but he will finish 5th and get through to the main event without needing the last chance qualifier. Terry Gabbard will finish 6th. He'll take the last transfer spot. Everyone else will have to go into the last chance qualifier. Pretty sure John Smeal just broke a rule there, but I guess we'll figure that out later. Alrighty, here's the grid for the last chance qualifier. It's Joshua Gaiman and Tom Sears on the front row. Bradley Wright and Ryan Fennell in row number 2. Noah Belleville and John Smeal make up row 3. Then it's James Kerr and Kevin Feimster, row 4. Wansing and Hohenbrink, row 5. And Patrick Allen in his own row. He will not start again. So, really, there's only 10 cars in this race. Everyone that starts in this event will be able to make the main event. No one's going to go home. No failures to qualify. No bump qualifying. In effect, we'll see 25 cars take the stage here in the main event. But to figure out where everyone's starting from 15th on down, they've got a race here. Green flag is in the air. Last chance qualifier is green here at Talladega. Really tidy start there, but Gaiman will have the run, and he's being Bradley Wright and Noah Belleville with him. A lot of good names in this last chance qualifier, kind of affected by the calamities of the first two heats. Gaiman, Belleville, Kerr, Wanzing, Wright, Sears, all in this conversation in the last chance qualifier when they typically aren't. First lap in the books. It's Gaiman and Belleville at the front of the field, and it's 3 wide and 3 rows behind them. You got Pinnell and Smeal on the outside. In the middle, I believe that's Wanzing at the very back of the field. No, that'd be Bradley Wright that's at the back in the middle. No, Belleville just got sent backwards. He'll drop all the way down to 10th. Five to go. Wanzing leads. Gonna ton bring Pinnell and Gaiman. Wanzing still leads over Hohenbrink. Gaiman third. Kerr's moved up to fourth. 4 laps to go. Still pretty tidy. Team Sideswipe bookending the field here at the moment with Pinnell and Smeal at the back and Wanzing at the front. James Kerr got shuffled out below the yellow line. He'll shuffle back in, but he's going to be at the back of the field now. 3 wide at the front. It's Wright, Sears, and Wanzing. Wright clears Wanzing. Sears stays with Belleville and Gaiman. 3 cars on the outside, 4 cars on the bottom, and the team sideswap duo of Smil and Pinnell moves to the outside line. Sears moves to the lead. 3 laps to go, 3 wide with Smil and Belleville now in a 3 wide situation with Bradley Wright. Sears moves back to the top lane. He's trying to lay all 3 lanes of traffic. Belleville gets to his bumper. That's who helped to lead in the first place. Smil on his own now at the top of the track. He'll fall backwards. Belleville stays in line with Sears. It's the 14 and the 41. Belleville moves to the bottom. Sears moves to the bottom. Very close, snug fit for Sears and Belleville, but they do get in front of Bradley Wright. Sears moves back to the top lane to help Joshua Gaiman. Gaiman goes to his outside. Sears gets thrown backwards. Gaiman's at the lead on the outside with James Kerr behind him. From 1st to 8th for Tom Sears. Belleville Gaiman leading the top 2 lanes. Sears on his own on the outside, seeing if he can get help. It's almost 4 wide. That's Feimster and Sears and Pinnell. And Pinnell ended up worse for wear of it. They were all 4 wide, and it went badly for 3 of them. John Smil was the other in that 4 wide situation. He fell backwards a little bit. They're coming to the white flag this time! That's right in Homebrink. They got together, the 18 and the 20, and they're going to lose the pack. Wansing goes for the race lead. 4 cars in this conversation, technically 5 cars with James Kerr still in this conversation as well. It's Wansing, Smil, Gaiman, and Belleville. Homebrink barely hanging on to the draft. Who's going to win the last chance qualifier? Wansing in the 9, Smil in the 50. It's Chevrolet versus Ford. Is Gaiman going to play a role here? Gaiman goes to the bottom. Wansing stays on the bottom. Smil's going to lose a spot. Seth Wansing wins the last chance qualifier. And once again, Smil makes contact with the car after the checkered flag's been taken. I believe he made contact with 2 cars, with both Wansing and Kerr. All right, so as we get ready to go here, here's what it all looks like. Talladega Superspeedway, 2.66 miles of high-speed action as cars go through and do warm-up here. Race 16 of 36 on the season, race 16 of 26 for the regular season. The 10-race playoff format will determine the A-squared champion of 2022. Air temperature 77 degrees, track temperature 109 degrees. So very hot track, very cool, and very reasonable temperatures in the air, though. Really good for fans watching here tonight. And for those tuning in through RX Racing Network on Twitch or YouTube, thank you for tuning in and spending your Sunday evening with us. I'm Clayton Hardy, and we are getting ready for the main event here after warm-up. We'll cover the grid in just a second. First laps have been set. Everyone getting last second system checks in. Again, for those that missed the explanation earlier, there is two number types displayed. There is the red and white that you see, and then the silver and black. The red and white numbers are those that have not yet locked themselves into the A squared playoffs. Those that are marked in silver and black, are drivers that have already won a race this season and are locked into the A squared playoffs as it sits at the moment. We've had 8 different winners across the first 15 races of the season. Notable absentee is Jeremy Breo. He's won 5 races this season, but he is not taking part in tonight's race. Someone to keep an eye on is Donald Ray. Rockwall, Texas native for Team Outlaw. He won the season opener at Daytona. That's been the only plate race this season up until this point. Between now and September, there will be 3. Obviously, this one tonight here in mid-June. The night race at Daytona in August. And then Talladega in late September and early October. So Don Ray's got the ability to win, to try to sweep the plate races this year. It's not been done in A squared yet. But Donald Ray has the best position to try to do that here tonight. Teamwork's going to make the dream work a little bit here. Team Sideswipe has 4 cars in this event. Elliot Longenecker in the number 25 for Team Sideswipe. 6th second on the timesheets here in warm-up, as warm-up's almost over. Him alongside Ryan Pinnell, John Smeal, and Seth Wansing will be trying to work together here. Likewise, the Bluegrass Bandits, Bradley Wright, Toby Estes, Davey Houck, will be trying to work together to try to get their win on a road course on Talladega here, after the road course of Sonoma last week, where Houck finished 3rd. There's 4 cars for Bluegrass Bandits. The 53 for Jason Alexander, also Bluegrass Bandit. Alrighty. Now it's almost time to go racing. So we'll go over the starting grid here at Talladega. Alrighty, so we're going to start with the pole sitter, Elliot Longenecker, for Team Sideswipe. That number 25 will be on the pole, his first pole of the season, as a part-time entry here. He'll lead the Team Sideswipe drivers to the green flag. Thomas Andrews for Team Outlaw makes up the front row. He missed Sonoma last week, but he's here tonight, and he's got a good chance to try to win here after 94 laps. Donald Ray and Jacob Blankenship make up row number 2. They're already locked in row 2. Blankenship's won twice, Ray's won twice, but a 3rd win adds more bonus points to their total for the playoffs when that begins. And they do have to think playoffs here a little bit when the races like this do occur. Davey Houck and Jason Alexander make up row 3. Bluegrass Bandits across that 3rd row. Then it's Tristan Catania and Tommy Withers in row 4. Withers for Prophecy Racing, Catania for Team Outlaw. Toby Estes and Dustin Painter make up row number 5. Then you have Joshua Garrison and Eric DiMercurio in row number 6. DiMercurio in his debut in that number 57 machine. Looking down the rest of the order, you have Mark Brewster in the 00, Terry Gabbard in the 4, making up row number 7. Row 8 is Wanzing and Gaiman. Wanzing for Team Sideswipe, Gaiman on his own in that Ukraine tribute car. John Smeal for Team Sideswipe will try to help Wanzing get to the front of the field. He starts in row number 9. Alongside him is Noah Belleville, who impressed immediately when he returned to A-Squared competition at Richmond a couple months ago. Jonathan Hohenbrink and James Kerr make up row 10. Kerr, our Fontana race winner. Hohenbrink looking for his first win of the season still. Then you have Tom Sears and Kevin Feemster making up row 11. It's been bad luck for both of them, looking to make sure that they stay out of each other's hair and out of the way of any trouble anyone else causes early on here in Talladega. Bradley Wright and Ryan Pinnell will be in row 12, and that is the last row of competition. Patrick Allen, who participated in practice, has elected to not ruin anyone's races, so he's going to sit out. No, in all reality, I'm actually kind of bummed that Patrick Allen did not make the start here. This seemed to be a race that he was pretty well in prime to do well in, but unfortunately, he will not participate. Hopefully, all is well with Patrick Allen in that number 45 machine. He would have made 25, but now instead we have 24. Green flag is in the air. And away we go here at Talladega. First lap in the books. Really clean and tidy on that start, and really clean and tidy so far. 2 distinct lanes so far. The bottom lane's the most effective lane. Andrews and Blankenship jumps in front of Elliott Longenecker in that 25 at the start. So it's Andrews, Blankenship top 2, then Longenecker, then Ray. I believe Jason Alexander is actually Toby Estes now leading that outside lane and that number 19 machine. But it's very jumbled up, not very organized in that second lane. Catania jumps to the inside. Estes and Alexander largely just stuck on that outside lane at the moment as cars continue to go by. But Andrews leads, and he completes lap 2 there. Smeal already all the way back. He's down to 24th. Seth Wanzing in 23rd. Ryan Pinnell in 22nd. So 3 of the 4 Team Sideswipe cars in this field already at the back of the field as James Kerr. No, that's Hunter Withers that will give up spots. He's going to drop down. Does not want to be in the middle of it if a big one happens in stage 1. Again, 3 stages in this race, as it is traditionally. Stage 1 ends on lap 30. So, lap 30 and lap 60 are when the stage breaks occur. Right now, it's Andrews, Blankenship, and Longenecker in the top 3. Donald Ray, our Daytona race winner, 2-time race winner, if you include Dover as well, sitting in the 4th position, sitting pretty well comfy, knowing that he can kind of just sit behind these top 3 with very minimal fuss. Somebody dropping backwards. That was James Kerr that dropped out of the top 15. Did not want to be in that mess. He's actually going to drop even further back. Unusually on the apron into turn 3. But he'll drop himself out of the top 20. A lot of drivers, though, want to try to jockey to the front. Stage points are on offer, and it's a lot easier to be in contention for the stage points when you're in this contention from the start. It's a lot easier when you look at that second pack. It's not very organized, and they're going to continuously lose time to this lead group as we keep an eye on the lead group here. Catania wants the challenge for the race lead. He's leading that outside lane, that ally number 48. Blankenship in the 85 on the inside. Tobias in the 19 on the outside, trying to help the lane leaders lead them to success here in stage 1. Tanya is going to lead a lap. First lead change of the race. Hands the lead over from Andrews to Catania. This is Catania's first laps leading under green all season long. All the laps he's led up until this point have been under yellow. His first green flag lap here, lap 6 in Talladega, race 16. Not been the easiest season for him, but Talladega has a chance to make it all good. Estes stays behind him. He stays on the outside lane too, does not move to the bottom to get in front of Andrews. So Andrews and Blankenship have the ability to work together and try to make something happen on that inside lane. Catania leads another lap. He'll lead lap 6. Make that 2 in a row for Catania, not 48. Our pole sitter Longenecker, he moves to the back. Besides, he does not want to be in that conversation anymore. Still a really good battle at the front here for Catania and Andrews. Who's going to lead lap number 7? Looks like Catania will. That run out of turn 4. Pretty important. Catania leads lap 7. He's trying to get Estes clear, but Andrews keeps getting a good enough run out of turn 2 with the help of Blankenship in the 85. That he's just not been able to get that run solidified. There's also more help on the bottom than what there is at the top. But right now, Estes is clear. If they want to move to the bottom, they can. But they won't. Not a whole lot of side drafting going on either. There's 2 very distinct lanes, and there's space between those 2 lanes as that outside lane begins to put more and more over Thomas Andrews. Top 3 now all on that outside lane, with Alexander now in P3, entering turn 1. Catania moved to the bottom, and it immediately did not pan out because Catania will now drop from the lead. He'll potentially drop out of the top 3, and potentially could drop out of the top 5. Tobias now the race leader. He leads lap 9. Caution has come out. It's for Noah Belleville and Eric DiMercurio. That's a really strange crash. He just bumps Belleville. Yeah, he just bumps Belleville in the corner. Not a very wise move by the 57. You're not supposed to bump in the corner, and you're not supposed to bump on the left rear. That just isn't the smart thing to do. Rookie mistake there by DiMercurio. The first caution comes out on lap 10. We're now on lap 11. I don't think anyone's going to come into pit lane this time. There's no point. But there could be a couple takers. Actually, a lot of cars end up coming in. And I understand now why. Because they would have had to do a pit stop under green if they didn't. I don't think they would have made it to the end of stage 1 without having to make a pit stop. So that's actually really smart. And a lot of people only took fuel. Estes, Painter, Alexander, Catania, all of them took only fuel. Yeah, everyone took only fuel on this stop. So that would get them to the end of stage 1. While they roll around under yellow, we're going to step aside for a drink break, get rehydrated, and ready to go for this restart. Don't go anywhere. We're not going anywhere picture-wise. So you're not going to miss a beat of action here at Talladega. Alrighty, we're about to go racing here once again at Talladega. They are two wide. All 24 cars that started this race are still in it. Again, it is Toby Estes leading the field. It'll be Dustin Painter alongside him. Jason Alexander and Thomas Andrews make up row number 2. Then it's Tristan Catania, Joshua Garrison in row 3, Donald Ray, and Jonathan Homebrink in row number 4. So we're about to go back at it. It'll be interesting to see how everyone handles this restart, because now everyone can make it on fuel to the end of stage 1. So you can argue the gloves might be off for some people here to try to get some stage points here early on. Pace car is off on pit lane. Restart zone coming into play. The restart zone is the Geico restart zone, as is marked here. There's the restart zone that's marked. They can go anytime between that restart zone. They went really late, but we are underway. Obviously, Estes didn't want to get a really good jump. You don't want to become a sitting duck here. If you get a really good jump and nobody's there to help you out, then you kind of just get thrown to the middle of the track and towards the back of the field you go. So I can understand why Estes didn't go early. But either way, the restart zone is in effect. So where that Geico restart zone is marked. It's marked by 2 yellow hash marks on the apron. Really unfortunate latency there for Alexander will give the outside line the advantage once again. Painter at the front of the field over Thomas Andrews as they move to the bottom. Joshua Garrison inherits the lead of that outside line as we start lap 15. We'll see how that outside lane does here. Really good look at where everyone's located out here on track. Zoom out a little bit as they all rush down to the tri-oval here. Very massive complex here at Talladega. Gonna go 3 wide. Pinnell trying to make his way through here. Pinnell's up to 9th. He's gained 15 spots so far, but it can change in an instant. Outside lane. There is an outside lane here. 3 wide, 3 rows. That's Homebrink and Sears, and I believe that's John Smeal that tied the wall just a little bit. It was John Smeal. Inside lane, it's Garrison and Andrews leading this field. Then it's 3 wide, 2 rows. Andrews back to the lead. Garrison leads the middle line. Then it's Homebrink in that number 20 leading the outside lane. Seth Wanty in the 9's on the outside lane as well. That 9 car's moved forward. That red Hooters machine sitting on that top lane behind Tom Sears and Jonathan Homebrink. Right now, the bottom still has the advantage, but most of that top line has gotten clear of Joshua Garrison. Andrews leads lap number 17. Homebrink stays on the outside. So will Sears. Wansing peeks to the inside. He peeks to the middle. I think the issue is that Homebrink's running too high up. You want to be firmly in that middle lane as the outside lane. That's what Wansing's doing here. He's going to try to force the issue, and everyone's going to let him go. Homebrink doesn't want to get side drafted. He doesn't want to deal with it, but that's sort of how you need to get to the front of the field. If that was the intention, then he's failed that objective. Wansing understands that and is trying to sort of correct it. Bradley Wright got on board with it. But now both the outside and the middle lanes are going to fall backwards as Donald Ray moves to the middle, as will Davey Houck. So Wansing goes nowhere with it, despite trying. Homebrink will fall out of the top 10 because he's just not close enough to try to make anything happen. And Thomas Andrews retains the lead of this race pretty easily uncontested. It's going to have to come from Painter or Estes behind him. And the numbers on your screen, they don't lie. The red numbers means they haven't won a race this season. If they're in silver, they have. Top 2 have not yet won a race this season. They would love for this to be the place to do it. Donald Ray leading that middle line. Davey Houck behind him. Now Homebrink understands the message. He's got to follow Houck to do it. Houck and Ray jump to the bottom. Now Homebrink's got to maintain what he just learned. He can't go back to old habits and go all the way to the wall. He's got to stay really close. He's got to stay snug and side draft a little bit. Just like that. He's got to stay very snug. He's got to be very consistent on the wheel here. But it is working. Now he's to the side of Houck. Out of turn 4, he was on the side of Andrews, so he is making up time here. That's what he wanted. We're watching a lesson in motion. And Homebrink's going to use it to try to get to the front. Number 20, keep an eye on the number 20. Homebrink and Sears on the outside lane with Wansing in tow as well. You just got to hang on to him. Can't be scared of side drafting him a little bit here. If you're trying to get to the front of the field, you need to be able to side draft a little bit. Sears right on the bumper. He's going to step out a little bit to get some air. But Homebrink will lead a lap. There you go, son. That's how you do it. And now he's got a good enough advantage where he can kind of space out from Sears, let them accordion back, let Sears sort of get momentum, get back to Homebrink, and attempt to kind of clear each other out here. Homebrink firmly going to lead this lap as well. Completing lap 23. Well, completed lap 22, starting lap 23. Stage break to end stage 1 is at the end of lap 30. Right now it's Homebrink in the 20. Sears in the 14. Wansing in the 9. There's Longenecker in the 25. He's joined his team Sideswipe teammate. So both the team Sideswipe Camaros are sitting in that middle row right now, the 9 and the 25. Wanzi goes to the outside with Pinnell, another team sideswipe driver. Trying to move to the front. Hornbrink moves the block. Wanzi goes to the wall. Pinnell goes to the wall. 3 wide for the lead. 3 rows. Ray's on the bottom. Houck on the bottom. So is Andrews. Hornbrink leads that lap just barely. No, it's Wanzi that leads the lap across the line. With Pinnell, Gaiman, and I believe that's John Smeal in tow on the outside lane. Hornbrink and Sears in the middle. Then it is Donald Ray in the 5 and Davey Houck in the 21 on the bottom. And now it's congested. Now it's 4 wide. Look out. There's going to be trouble. It's Longenecker. Longenecker and Andrews, somehow they saved it. No yellow. We stay green. And Wanzing goes to the front. Wanzing, Pinnell, Ray, Houck, top 4, Smeal in 5th. That was chaos. Sears, who was leading, who was in position to sort of take that second line, dropped down to 10th, but he is on the bottom lane now, so he's got the space to breathe. Sears actually moves up to 7th. Catania is hung out to dry, as is Joshua Gaiman and Josh Garrison. Outside line tries to form up again, but it's team sideswipe on the bottom. Ray and Houck have to work together here. They've worked together before, but the outside lane was where they were, was what was successful before. Tom Sears back to the outside lane. From 10th to 5th. Coming to 5 to go in stage 1. Houck and Ray got back in front of Wanzing and Pinnell. But now Wright has to push Sears as hard as he can these next 5 laps to try to get Sears to the front or try to have a chance to go to the front of the field. Ray's been very comfortable. So has Davey Houck. Seth Wanzing made a really good move on the outside lane. Got in front of all the melee before it occurred. 2 rows, 7 on the bottom, 6 on the top, 13 cars in a bubble. Sears and right on the outside lane. That's Garrison that tied the wall. And Garrison comes down pit lane immediately. Sears leads this lap. Wanzing drops down to 7. That's who we were focusing on with the cameras. Now we'll focus on Sears and Wright. Garrison stays topside. So will Toby Estes in the 19. That Matt Black, number 19, the Auto Traders machine. Toyota's at the front. Sears in the 14, right in the 18. There's 3 rows once again. 3 columns of cars. Sorts back down to 2 columns. Toyota's lead both of them. As if the car spun, that's Catania. Yellow's out. Wright leads. And this will be how stage 1 ends. With Wright, Sears, Gaiman, and Ray. Stage 1 will end with this incident there for Catania being spun to the outside wall. Well, that was interesting. So Wright, Sears, Gaiman, and Ray, top 4. Davey Houck will be 5th, entering pit lane. I believe everyone will enter pit lane this time, either for a combination of fuel and tires, or just fuel. Here's why. So we're going to take a look. It ended up happening with Tristan Catania. See if I can get you a better angle. So Catania, you see the context already started there. That is Catania and Homebrink on the outside. Catania on the 48, Homebrink in the 20. We're going to back up just a little bit here. So there's a really good look at it. All right, stop. Yeah, Homebrink slots to the outside here. And he tags Catania just enough to turn him. And both of them end up turned in front of, that's Estes, that's Alexander where it gets turned. Pinel sneaks by on the bottom. Smil sneaks by on the bottom. Yellow comes out. But the damage is already done. So pit stop's underway. See who all has a really good run on pit lane. Oh, Gaiman and Sears beat out Donald Ray. I believe Ray beat Wright out across the line. I'll have to double check. Davey Alex stays 5th, Alexander 6th, Toby Estes 7th, Terry Gabbard up to 8th, Tristan Catania 9th, Dustin Painter 10th, and it's Feemster 11th. As you saw there, Donald Ray is dropping to the back of the field. I believe he's got a speeding penalty on pit lane. So he will drop all the way to the back of the field here, I believe. Indeed he did. Drop to the back of the field. He'll be restarting here in, I believe, 23rd, 24th position. There's been no retirements in this race. The only person that has not taken part in this event is Patrick Allen, but he didn't take part in any of the heat races, so he just isn't available. Everyone that started this race is still in it. 3 cars visited pit lane again. Donald Ray, Dustin Painter, and James Kerr all visited pit lane. Topping up with fuel, I believe, was the name of the game there, with Donald Ray already starting the back of the field this time. Why not double up and take some more fuel? But this did end stage 1. So when we go green here, it'll be the beginning of stage number 2. We'll be going green with Joshua Gaiman leading us to the green flag. Then it's Bradley Wright alongside him. No, excuse me, Bradley Wright's actually in 3rd. Tom Steers will be alongside him in row 1. pace car is going to be pulling in here. Again, Gaiman and Sears on the front row for this restart to begin stage 2. Bradley Wright and Davey Alki in row 2. Then it's Toby Estes and Jason Alexander in row 3. Terry Gabbard and Tristan Catania in row 4. There's restart zone. And we're back at it. We're racing once again here in Talladega. And Gaiman got a really big run. That is a cursed run. That is a devil's run there that he got on the field, because he will not hold it out of turn 2. Because it's going to create an accordion on the bottom, and it's going to allow that outside to just sort of bunch up and get away as soon as they get out of turn 2. And that's what I'm talking about. Already 2 cars clear. That's Sears and Houck that got clear. Almost 3 if Toby Estes could get clear too. Theoretically, he was clear for a brief moment. He didn't chop down and clear himself, but he was clear going into turn 3, and he'll be clear coming out of 3 with the help of Catania. That was a devil's restart for Josh Gaiman. Feels so good, and then it goes really bad, and Sears will get jumped by both the Bluegrass Bandit cars of Houck and Estes. So the Bluegrass Bandits, couldn't talk there for a second, are 1-2 with Houck and Estes. Houck has not yet won a race this season. He said Sonoma might have been his best shot, but I think Talladega might be his best shot. He's got teammates that can work with him. Jason Alexander sitting in the 5th spot, that 3rd Bluegrass Bandits car, and then Bradley Wright not far behind. Actually, Bradley Wright's in 3rd. So Bluegrass Bandits trying to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Tom Sears kind of interfering with that. But he's on the outside line, which makes him easier to deal with, especially if you're in a line of 4, which is what they're in right now. We're looking mid-pack because it is 3 wide in 2 rows. Make that 3 rows now. Gabbard on the outside with Jacob Blankenship and Thomas Andrews. But they're falling backwards. And they will continue to fall backwards. Bluegrass Bandits have a 1, 2, 3, 5. Tom Sears trying to be that thorn in their side in the number 14. So far, he's doing it. Still 3 wide in 3 rows. Noah Belleville now on the bottom. Noah Belleville clears that 3 wide situation. Jason Alexander still in it. Tom Sears in the thick of it as well. But Davey Houck sitting really good right now in the front of the field with his teammates right behind him. It's Toby Estes in 2nd, Bradley Wright in 3rd. Bluegrass Bandits looking really good so far here in stage 2. Good thing about having teammates is that you can communicate with each other, work together as a team to try to prevent other teams from kind of making a momentum up to try to get to you. It's just unfortunate for Jason Alexander because he's in the middle of it. But sometimes in situations where you have multiple cars, you can have a car back there sort of be a gauge for you, like what lane's moving before they get to the lead group. Right now, the inside line's the way to go. Outside line, the middle lines went nowhere in a hurry. Caution is out. And it's for Tommy Withers. Spun on his own, entering the tri-oval. We'll see what happened here. So, third caution of the race for Tommy Withers. And here's why. Ooh. That's right in front of Donald Ray, too. I'm not sure what happened there. I have to double check. Who is that? Is that Brewster? It looks like it's Mark Brewster. Wow, yeah. That's Mark Brewster, and he just kind of comes down in front of Withers, and Withers thinks he's going to hit him, so he moves up high, trying to avoid him, and Donald Ray's still up there. That's more on Brewster than anything, but Withers and Ray paid the price for it. And for Donald Ray, it's a good race gone bad, and even worse now. Had a penalty there for speeding on pit lane under the stage brake. Because he really didn't want to even be back there. But now here he is. And a lot of cars come in this time at least to top off with fuel to try to make it to the end of Stage 2. Stage 2 ends on lap 60. So everyone's going to try to make it the next 25-ish laps on this tank of fuel if they can. Or if they have to. Terry Gabbard, Joshua Garrison stay out. Mark Brewster stays out. You could argue he might be the cause of this third caution. Everyone else came into pit lane. So it'll be Gabbard getting a bonus point for leading a lap here over Garrison, then Brewster. Davey Halleck, the best he can hope for, unless these three come in at the end of this caution. The best he can hope for at the starting position-wise is fourth. With Halleck, Estes, Belleville, first cars out of pit lane. Bradley Wright, Tom Sears, Thomas Andrews, and Kevin Feimster will round out the top 10 when they rejoin the pace car line. Here we are, about to go green here. You see cars coming out of pit lane. They took some extra fuel to try to make it to the end of stage 2, which is on lap 60. Gonna be an interesting restart here. Gabbard and Garrison will lead the field to green here to start lap 39. There'll be 22 laps left in stage 2. For everyone tuning in, thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us here. We're at Talladega, race 16 of 36 for the Darkside Mustangs A² Cup Series season. 24 cars in this race, trying to lock themselves in to the A² playoffs later this year. Gabbard, Garrison, and Hauk in top 3. There's actually top 4 there because Mark Brewster in 3rd. Green flag in the air. We're racing at Talladega once again. Gabbard with a Devil's restart. Really good restart, but it's going to throw him out there. A lot of cars ran back in for fuel, which is why that inside line was so long. Everyone started single file because they had made a pit stop after the initial wave. Brewster was not ready for that restart, so it gives Garrison a chance to steal the lead away. And that's exactly what he did. Hauk moves to the bottom. Garrison's going to try to move to the bottom, and he does. Hauk actually was courteous enough to let him back in. I didn't think he was going to, but he did. So Garrison stays in front here, however, barely, because here comes the 2 of Thomas Andrews. Andrews on the outside, Garrison on the bottom. Coast Guard versus Miller Lite Fords. Andrews to the lead once again, leading for the second time today. Jason Alexander, that 53 Coors Light machine. Seems like a little bit of conflict of interest between Miller Lite and Coors Light, but so be it. But they're on the outside helping each other out here. And that's Briley Wright, 3rd in line on the outside. Noah Belleville, 4th in line on the outside. Moves to get away from Hauk and Garrison. Garrison's just getting skunked here. Alexander moves to the bottom, but he's not going to get a lot of help because here comes Briley Wright and Noah Belleville on the outside. Then there's Garrison and Sears. Sears has been a contending force. He's been a really good pusher in that outside line. He's been a really good trooper over there. Briley Wright leads that lap. 20 to go in stage 2. And that outside line is moving. Toby Estes is there. And the number 19, Donald Ray's in there to the 5. Ray is just like anything to get me out of the bottom of the group. And it's working so far to pretty phenomenal effect. All he has to do is kind of just follow along. Ideally, just follow Tom Sears. Wherever Tom's at typically is a really good place to be. Our Daytona race winner was involved in that last caution. But he's recovered really well and is sitting now in the top 10, sitting in 8th place at the moment. Briley Wright moved to the bottom, as did Belleville, Gaiman, and Thomas Andrews. Sears stayed on the outside lane, as did Estes, as did Ray. Looks like Terry Gabbard's also on that outside line, as is the 57 of the Mercurio. I believe that's Alexander dropping to the bottom. And that is him dropping to the bottom. And he's not alone there. I believe that was also Garrison that dropped backwards. No, it's Feimster, excuse me. Thomas Andrews moves to the apron. I don't think that was intended, but it's allowed Tom Sears to get to the front of the field. Sears, Estes, Ray, top 3, and they'll leave Terry Gabbard hanging out to dry. Sears leads at Talladega. Tom Sears, the highest driver in points, to not have a race win so far. He's got a really good gap with Estes and Ray in tow. 2 columns of cars going to try to close down on him. Bradley Wright's leading 1 column, Terry Gabbard's in the other. Bradley Wright moves to the outside, but he's got to wait for Gabbard to get to him. And now he can't close the door on Noah Belleville in that 41. Sears maintains the lead. Belleville moves to the outside lane. But again, no one's there to immediately help. Everyone drops back a little bit as soon as they move to the outside line because there's no one in front or behind them immediately. When you abandon your line like that, you have to wait for someone to get back to you, whereas this inside line seems very comfy. Donald Ray peeking to the outside. If someone makes that move again, he'll be able to jump on it. But ideally, if someone moves to that outside line, you want one of those top 3 to move with you, because you don't want to lose any momentum. But I don't think Rays can really want to move this early. We're going to be coming to 16 laps to go in stage 2. There's no point for him to move really early if he's sitting 3rd right now. He's sitting in a really good spot. He can determine who wins this stage by just staying where he's at right now. Whereas there's a lot of impatience there. Everyone wants to get to the front now and they think it's easier to defend than what it is to attack with it. But it's really easy to just be patient. Because if you're patient and you move well, then nothing anybody can do is going to stop you. Ray knows that. He knows that from Daytona. I'm wanting to say he's probably the master of that as Sears moves to the outside lane. Not sure if that was planned or not. Seemed like he might have gotten a tap and he had to chase it up, but he'll drop backwards in a hurry. But he's led his laps. He'll let it happen. So he'll drop all the way down. Toby Estes now leads, and Ray now even in an even better spot. He's sitting in 2nd. Because now all he has to focus on is Belleville. He doesn't have to focus on Sears. All he has to do is focus on Estes and Belleville. If Belleville goes high, go high with him. If Belleville stays in line, don't worry about it. His job just got a little bit easier. Coming to 14 to go here in stage number 2. There's 3 stages in this race. Stage 3 will be how the race ends. 34 laps will take us to the end of the race there. But stage 2, this middle stanza, right now currently being led by Toby Estes, 2-time race winner. Followed by another 2-time race winner with Donald Ray sitting in 2nd. Belleville sat on the podium in Richmond, but has not been on the podium since an A-squared. Davey Houck sits 4th in number 21. Joshua Gaiman, another race winner, in 5th. John Smeal, Bradley Wright, Terry Gabbard, Joshua Garrison, Tom Sears make up the top 10. With Eric DiMercurio, the debutant in this race, sitting in 11th at the moment. Not a bad shout for the newcomer. So far, so good, as Estes will move out of the way. Donald Ray now leads the lap here in stage 2. Now, I wonder, with Sears moving to the back, and now Estes doing the same, I wonder if there's a fuel concern. Because they pit on lap 36. I wonder if there's a genuine fuel concern. Gabbard pit on lap 28. So I don't believe Gabbard can make it to the end on fuel here. We've not had a car go a lap down yet in this race. That might change in this stage. There might be cars, as there's a yellow out. Yellow has come out. Who's it for? It's Catania. Catania and Andrews. There's Catania. Thomas Andrews is the one that was really struggling. Hohenbrink. Hohenbrink is the other one. Oh, and it happened early into turn 3. It happened at the entry of turn 3. Elliot Longenecker is also involved. Yep. There you go. What happened here? They were all in a single file line. Did somebody push the pusher? Oh no, Withers just came out of line. Withers came out of line and just tagged that right rear. A really unbalanced push just sent Hohenbrink around. So back of the field, there's Longenecker in the 25. Got Dustin Painter. There's Jacob Blankenship involved as well. So several cars affected by that one. So this bailed out a lot of drivers that were cutting it close on fuel. Ray thinks he's good to go on fuel, so does Belleville and Houck. But for Gabbard, Wright, those that were kind of leading lines, they weren't able to save fuel, so this is going to bail them out tremendously. So we're under our fourth caution of the race for an accident involving Elliot Longenecker, Thomas Andrews, and Jonathan Hohenbrink. Alrighty, so here we are, about to go back to racing here with the few laps to go here in stage number 2. Donald Ray and Noah Belleville will lead this field to green after the fourth caution of the race. One car is still on pit lane, that is Jonathan Hohenbrink in the number 20. He is the first car in this race to go a lap down, and he is still on pit lane. He will go at least, he'll be at least 2 laps down here, maybe 3 if he's still on pit lane. He was involved in that accident that caused the 4th yellow. And he is now officially out of this race. He'll be classified in the 24th position. Our first retirement from the event. So there'll be 23 cars left running, all 23 on the lead lap. The question is now, who's winning stage 2? The pace car is going to pull off into pit lane here. And the anxious wait to the other end of the tri-oval begins. It's Ray, Belleville, Hauk, and Gaiman top 4, with Smeal and DiMercurio in row 3. Through the restart zone, and away we go. We're underway once again. Donald Ray with pretty good restart there, maybe a bit too far out. But Belleville had a good enough restart to keep Davey Hauk from really trying to abandon that inside line. Davey's only got 1 position. That's to just stick with Donald Ray. And that's what he does. Doesn't really contest it too much. They've worked together most of this race so far up to this point. And we're over the halfway point. So it makes sense that Davey would just stay with Donald Ray no matter what there. And so far it's worked because Belleville couldn't do anything about it. Smeal goes up to 3rd. DiMercurio drops down into the inside lane. He'll go to 4th place once he gets by Belleville. But that inside line got a really good jump start. Sorry, that's Pinnell. Pinnell in the 12. So DiMercurio actually is on the outside lane. Similar color car there, but nowhere near as successful there. Pinnell battling for the top 5 spot. As we begin 8 laps to go. Gabbard goes down below the yellow line and then guns back up above it. But that is outside the top 10. He's in front of Briley right back there. That was for 14th and 15th, it looks like. Now the outside lane's doing something. Davey moves to the front. Donald Ray stays behind him on the bottom, but now Belleville's back at front of this end of the outside lane. Seth Wansing back in contention, right where he needs to be at the end of stage 2. Then there's Jason Alexander in that 53, that Coors Light machine. Joshua Garrison, that 44 Coast Guard machine, sitting in the mix as well once again. A lot of cars in the conversation now. 7 to go in stage 2. 3 wide, 3 rows. Estes and Wright in the middle lane behind John Smeal. And now we almost had a 4 wide situation there. They thought better of it. But now a lot of jockeying for position as Belleville currently takes the lead. Can he hold on to it out of 4? How can Ray move to the outside lane? Gaiman moved to the bottom. So we had a big pivot as far as who was in which lane. Belleville and that number 41, that Kellogg's machine, throwback to Terry Labonte, leads with 6 to go in stage 2. He's looking for his first stage win of the year. This could be wild. Belleville still leads over Hauk over Ray. Pinnell's in this conversation as well in that 12. He's on the outside lane, getting help from Garrison. And I believe that is DiMercurio. No, it's Feimster in the 8. DiMercurio is in that outside line, just further back. Sears moves to the middle line. Pinnell wants a stage win. One Pinnell's already been in the victory lane this season. That was Cody in that number 28. earlier in the year. That was, I believe, at Atlanta. Ryan trying to do the same here at Talladega. But there is a lot of contention here. It's Davey Houck and Donald Ray, top two. Noah Belleville got dropped all the way down. He is battling to stay in the top 10 at the moment. They funnel down the two columns, coming to 4 laps to go. It's Houck, Ray, and Gaiman top 3. James Kerr in that 75, sitting in 4th. Ryan Pinnell in 5th currently, but about to lose a spot to his teammate for Team Sideswipe and Seth Wansing if he keeps losing time. Wansing's on the bottom in the number 9. Tom Sears in the 14 on the bottom in that yellow and black. Pinnell just trying to hold on to that track position at the moment, but now it's 2 lanes he has to deal with because no one wants to stay behind Pinnell on the outside lane. Garrison will fall backwards now. He's been sacrificed. Inside lines where you want to be right now. That's where the more competent pushes are. That's a yellow and it's out. And for the second stage in a row, it'll end early under yellow, and that was for Garrison. I want to say that was Garrison and Wright, but I'm not sure. So we'll hold off on that second car. We'll hold off on identifying the second car. We know it was Garrison. It was the Coast Guard number 44. We'll hold off on identifying that second car. But the caution comes out. Davey Houck will win stage 2. Then Donald Ray, Josh Gaiman, James Kerr, Seth Wansing, Tom Sears, Ryan Pinnell, Tristan Catania with 8th place there. He gets some stage points. Kevin Feemster and John Smeal will finish 10th place and claim a stage point for himself. Alrighty, so here's what happened. And you see it's early on in the corner. Is that Di Mercurio? It might be Di Mercurio. I'll have to double check here. So you see Garrison, he's on the bumper of Toby Estes. So contact's already begun here at this point. Oh, no, that's Jason Alexander. That's the 53 of Jason Alexander. So he's on the outside here. And he tags Toby Estes. He gets loose, tags him again. And Toby takes a hard hit into the wall. And then Garrison gets turned across Alexander's nose. And a hard impact there. Gabbard gets through. But that's what happens and causes the caution there. So there's Donald Ray and Joshua Gaiman. Now the pit stops have occurred here. This will begin stage 3. Donald Ray, Joshua Gaiman, a pair of race winners this season, will be on, I'm assuming will be on the front row here. Davey Houck and Bradley Wright will be row 2. James Kerr and Mark Brewster will be row 4. Well, sorry, they'll be row 3. Wansing and Pinnell row 4, so a team sideswipe row 4. They'll have to try to figure out how they're going to get in position for that. Gabbard and Longenecker row 5. Sears and Andrews row 6. Smeal and Blankenship will be row 7, Belleville and Beamster row 8, Estes and Withers row 9, row 10, Alexander and Di Mercurio, and then Dustin Painter in the 11th row on his own right now. Catania and Garrison on pit lane. Catania's still in pit lane. Garrison with an extensive amount of repairs. He's more than one lap down at the moment. Catania trying to stay on the lead lap. But Catania on in pit lane, you see the other side of the pit lane. Not the side you wanted to see. But Donald Ray leads. He'll lead us to green to start stage 3. Interesting, interesting, interesting. James Kerr comes in to top off with more fuel. He'll give up 5th place to make that happen. Anything for an extra little bit of fuel here. We have not yet had a round of green flag pit stops. So if you're a betting person, don't bet on green flag pit stops happening in stage 3. Typically, the trend is there'll be an early caution in the stage and then a caution at the end. However, with it being stage 3, we have green-white checkers to take into consideration as well when we talk about the end of this race. 3 green-white checkers will be available at the end of this race to try to make sure this race ends under green flag conditions. So we might use one here. We haven't used one in several races, but it could happen here. Lights on that Ford Mustang safety car are off, which means we are going green at the end of this lap. Gonna be pretty fun times. Just now, we're starting to see drivers lose their way. 1 lap down, I believe, for Catania. No, Catania stayed on the lead lap. Catania's still on the lead lap. There's the Catania car, 48. Believe Garrison is officially out of this race. Indeed he is. He'll be classified 23rd. There'll be 22 still running, all 22 on the lead lap. There's not been a lucky dog handed out at all this race. Alrighty. It's Ray Gaiman, Hauk Wright, leading this field to green to begin stage number 3. Through the restart zone, there's Donald Ray. He accelerates his longtime helper tonight. Davey Hauk goes with him. We're racing once again, and Briley Wright goes down to the bottom with him. A little bit of teamwork between Team Outlaw and the Bluegrass Bandits. There's Mark Brewster in the 00, that U.S. Army machine. This is the furthest up he's been all race long. See how well he can hold on to it in the 00 machine as he gets by Joshua Gaiman. 22 cars still running. Let's see who's got it, who can survive the best to win here at Talladega. Three cars in tandem here. It's Ray, Hauk, and Briley Wright. Josh Gaiman in 4th. Mark Brewster in 5th. The pack is coming back. Ray still leads that lap. Racing coming thick and fast here. Gaiman leads the outside lane. Tom Sears again, a menace on that outside lane. He seems, wherever he is, whoever he's pushing, is able to find a way to the front. And Gaiman's getting to the front with ease. And that's almost trouble. Sears almost got put to the wall. And that is trouble. Sears to the lead. Several cars to the apron. And somehow that was not a yellow, though Donald Ray, definitely the most negatively affected by that. Tom Sears takes the lead out of it. That was wild. Sears, Wansing, and Wright top 3 now. is insane. Gaiman tried clearing himself, and he wasn't clear. And both lost time, though Don Ray paid for it more dearly than the others. Because Don Ray now sits down in 22nd. He needs a yellow to stay in contention here. He is now half a lap down. Sears got mugged for the lead. While we were talking about that, Wansing, Longenecker, and John Smeal. 1, 2, 3 for Team Sideswipe. Not many people are going to like that one. But Tom Sears and Noah Belleville are going to try to do something about it. They worked together before to get to the front. They're going to try to do it again. Withers in that number 6 stays on the bottom. Around the outside. It's going to be the Three Musketeers versus the Quarrelsome Four. On the outside lane, you got Brewster in the 00. You got Withers in the 6, tagging on to the Team Sideswipe train. But they are not as put together as that outside lane. Sears, Belleville, Wright, and Gaiman really snug together on that outside, trying to get up to the front. Because right now, there's two distinct packs, and they're not going to catch up to each other that quickly because they're equally about the same in as far as like size. So this is your chance to really stretch it out a little bit. And if a caution does not come, you can sort of pick and choose where you want to be on this, what would end up being green flag pit stops here. So we're keeping on this lead pack here at the moment. Sears gets back to the front. Gaiman leads the inside lane. Belleville stays with Sears. Bradley Wright right now staying with Sears. The second line has caught up. So now we're going to see an interesting game to play. Where does this outside line go? They go to the wall is where they go. Does anyone block it? Bradley Wright goes up to block it. That's teammate on teammate, the 18 and the 53. Sears. Wright goes 4 wide. It turns Sears. Longenecker involved. Very uncalled for move by Bradley Wright. Causes the 5th caution of the night. Wright was trying to go for the race lead, and it paid out for nobody except for Joshua Gaiman. Second time in 5 races, Bradley Wright's run some maneuver. This time, Tom Sears with the receiving end of it. But Josh Gaiman makes out like a bandit, so will Seth Wansing. We're gonna go back to when the yellow flag was thrown here. It's gonna be an interesting look. So this is silly. All right, so here's the good area. We're gonna use the aero cam for the first time here, so you can kind of see what happens. So we're gonna be looking. We're gonna look at. See if we can get ourselves focused on that 18 car here real quick. Alrighty, here we go. Here's Bradley Wright in the 18. The green number 18 in your screen, center screen. We're gonna slow down here. So you see the outside run. That's Jason Alexander, 53. He's got a really good run. Thomas Andrews is pushing him on the outside near the wall. Wright goes to the outside here. By the way, 53 is his teammate. Goes to the outside, stalls them out a little bit. Belleville moves up. He is clear to do so. You see the space between Belleville and Wright. Wright, electing not to try to push Belleville, moves from the outside lane all the way down below Sears and then runs Sears over. And if Sears held his line, he was holding the hash line the entire time. Wright just completely messed that up. And it affected Sears and Longenecker as well. I'd be willing to wager a bet that Longenecker and especially Sears are not going to be happy about that one, because Sears essentially just got spun out from the lead. As I mentioned before, this happened again. This happened last time at Charlotte. And I don't think he was penalized there either. So I don't think they're going to do anything about that. But, interesting trend. Pit stops have taken place. It's Andrews, Belleville, and Longenecker in the top three. Longenecker just took fuel. Gaiman is fourth. Wanzing fifth. Wanzing's pitting for fuel again. He wants to make sure he's good on fuel. And it's going to be a close window. It'd be 25 laps on this restart. So yeah, Wanzing's smart to take fuel again here. So will Dustin Painter. Those two come in. So will Donald Ray. Donald Ray will come in. They'll try to shore themselves up. There's Tom Sears. He's had repairs done in that number 14. He was the one that was the worst affected by it. So he will start in 22nd on this restart. But importantly, he is on the lead lap. So again, no lucky dogs, no cars a lap down here. Everyone fortunate enough to be able to kind of be bailed out by that. It looks like Hombrink's back running. Let's double check. Is Homebrink back running here? Indeed he is. Homebrink is still running. There you go. So he's going to try to take up Josh Garrison's position here. Garrison is out of this race. Homebrink trying to run enough laps to catch up and pass Garrison and take those points away. He's got to run 5 more laps to be able to do that. Here we are. We're getting ready to go green once again for the 6th time, following an accident involving Bradley Wright, Tom Sears, and Elliot Longenecker. Longenecker ended up the best for wear there, sitting in 3rd now. Wright ended up pretty bad for wear. Well, he's at the back of the field anyway. Bradley Wright starting 19th, and Tom Sears will start 18th. I believe Wright might have been sent to the. He may have been given an EOL penalty for that. He may have well been penalized. I don't believe he exited 19th in pit lane. Either way, we'll assume it's all settled until we're told it's not. But here we go. Green flag back in the air. We're racing once again. 24 laps to go here at Talladega. And Andrews with the Devil's run. Once again, the Devil's restart. He's going to be a sitting duck, and it's going to get ugly. There's Belleville, and he wastes no time. Like a vulture. No, he stays with them. Interesting call. Andrews tried blocking both lanes. That didn't work well at all, because there's Gaiman on the outside, well clear of Andrews. Alexander in the 53, Feimster in the 8, also in this conversation now. Alexander leads this lap. Terry Gabbard in the conversation just moved. And the outside lane's going to fall apart here very quickly. No chemistry there between Gaiman and Gabbard. Gabbard just pushed at the wrong place, and everyone's you saw James Kerr. He abandoned the outside lane as quickly as he could. Don't blame him. At the front, it's still Alexander and Andrews. Alexander, 53, moves back topside to cover off Andrews. He'll give Feimster the inside lane. It was Sears. Was that Sears and Wright? No, Sears and Wadsing. Wright's in front of Sears. But it was Sears and Wadsing that got together. We saw a car blink sporadically. We thought it was Wright and Sears because we saw them on the timing screen together. But no, it's Sears and Wansing, and the Wansing is going to drop backwards. Wright's going to make his way forward. Both Wright and Sears on the outside lane. Sears following Wright here. Front of the field, Thomas Andrews, Kevin Feimster, Elliott Longenecker, John Smeal, then Jason Alexander. Alexander on the outside line with Noah Belleville helping him. Terry Gabbard trying to ride in the line in that number 4, the Mobile 1 machine. A lot of Fords in the top 10. Only one Chevrolet in the top 10, and that's the 25, sitting in 3rd. .25 of Longenecker goes up to the top lane. What can Elliott do? It's Elliott. Jason Alexander. Right behind him. Andrews tried to go to block the outside lane. Elliott was like, nah, we're not doing that. And just stepped around him, and everyone on that outside lane is going to follow suit. Elliott just side-drafted his teammate almost down below the yellow line, and now they're 3 wide. The outside lane keeps moving. Alexander gets that spot back. Pandemonium's about to break out here, I believe. You saw how quickly Andrews moved to the back of the field there. Might be for the best, because it's going to get chaotic in a hurry. With less than 20 to go, it's Belleville and Alexander, Feimster, and Gabbard at the front of this field. They have not been at the front of this field, minus Belleville in the 41. They've not been leading this field, at least in this combination before. There's Davey Houck on the outside lane. He had help briefly from Catania, but Catania moved to the middle. Alexander leads that lap. Second time he's been in front of the field today. Gabbard on the number 4. He wants to lead some laps. Crazy, crazy, crazy as we deal with what will end up being 17 laps to go. 22 cars all still together here in Talladega. 23 cars in this pack. Wanzinger's on his own on the outside lane, but he's in the top 10 at the moment. It's still Alexander and Belleville leading the two main columns of cars so far. Belleville has Feimster behind him in the number 8, the number 4 of Terry Gabbard behind Alexander in the 53. There's your top 4. Behind that, pick your favorite, wherever they are in this field, because they are 2 by 2 the entire way through. Catania now in the third line. Well, in third in line on the inside. He's slotted in between Feimster and James Kerr. Outside lane trying to hold strong with just 3 cars leading that group, because there was a significant gap between Davey Houck and John Smeal. Now that outside lane is holding station. They're trying to get Davey Houck up there. That inside line, not as consistent as far as the pushing goes. You see they keep bobbling from the yellow line. It's going to allow Alexander and Gabbard to clear that inside line, potentially, and move down to lead it. Alexander, thinking about it, he's playing both lanes. But he does elect to stay with the top lane, much to Gabbard's chagrin. They gave up a lot of ground to do that, too. Not sure that was the smartest play. Houck has caught up, but he's moved Gaiman out of the way. So Gaiman's going to drop backwards here. He's going to have to slot in, hopefully, between, I believe that's Wanzing and Estes. But now Estes has closed that gap, so now Gaiman's just going to drop all the way backwards. We're on 15 laps to go. We're on lap 80 of 94. And again, all 22 cars in the conversation. If you're in the conversation at this point, if you're on the lead lap, you have a chance to win this race. No matter how slim your chance may be, it's not 0. Belleville right now looks like he's got a really good chance. Surviving onslaughts from Feimster, from Alexander, from Gabbard, from Catania, from James Kerr, from John Smeal. Joshua Gaiman has somehow survived being put 3 wide and in the danger zone. He's still in the top 10. And around the right in the bumper of John Smeal. Tommy Withers in the top 10 as well, in the number 6. Ryan Pinnell sitting 11th. He's not out of it yet either. And then you have that second pack, which I think is the more dangerous pack. There's Tom Sears in the 14, that yellow and black 213 somewhere machine. Working on the inside of Jacob Blankenship. Excuse me. I've almost mixed up Alexander and Blankenship all race long. There was the first big slip up there. We're looking at Alexander in the 53, that Coors Light machine. Single file for the first 7 positions. You have to go all the way down to Gaiman, who's side by side with Gabbard. But it is Scott in single file, the calm before the storm. 13 laps to go. Noah Belleville leads this line. Smeal and I believe that's Brewster on the outside lane. 2 debutants, Brewster in the 00 and the 57 of DiMercurio. The 2 debuting drivers tonight. DiMercurio sitting 22nd at the moment, last car on the lead lap. And obviously Brewster top 10 sitting 7th now, trying to work with John Smeal to get up to the front. So you got a tandem on the high line and a lot of cars single file on the bottom. Smeal and Brewster, is the tandem working? It looks like it. It looks like this tandem is working like a charm. Smeal and Brewster moving to the front. They're side by side with the race leader with Noah Belleville. Catania moves high side. So does Gaiman. So does Jacob Blankenship. John Smeal has taken the lead in a 2-car tandem against a 13-car line. How about that? I think the battling is about to begin. 11 laps to go. Again, for those of you tuning in, you've tuned in to the best part of this race, I think, because it's about to go down. I'm Clayton Hardy. Thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us, however much you've spent with us so far. 2 distinct packs. This lead pack led by John Smeal and Mark Brewster. Brewster in his debut trying to win his first A-squared event. John Smeal trying to win his first race of the season. The top 4 have not won a race at all this season. They're marked in the red numbers. Those that are marked in silver have already won a race and have locked themselves into the A-squared playoffs later this year. So there's a lot on the line. The outside lane, another tandem. That's Catania and James Kerr. Tandems are working. There's Gabbard at the 4. Where did he come from? Jacob Blankenship's behind him. Tommy Williams is behind him. This is going to get wild. Kerr and Catania just jumped the entire field. And not everyone's going to chase them down. But keep in mind, this second pack, led by Donald Ray and Davey Houck, have shut down a second of the gap. They're going to be coming with a vengeance when they get here. The more they battle, the worse it gets. This 2-car tandem's starting to break away. Catania and Kerr starting to break away. Oh, dearie me. Less than 10 laps to go. Now the question is, have they let Kerr and Catania go too far? We know that Kerr's got to breathe the car at some point. You can't just sit behind Catania forever. But that's what Kerr's doing. He's sniffing out a little bit, breathing the car in the corners, which is a very smart play. Wait, is Catania out of fuel? Catania is out of fuel. So is James Kerr. They were out of fuel. They were out of fuel. Oh my goodness, they were out of fuel. And now everyone's scrambling. John Smeal, did he almost run out of fuel? Is he almost out of fuel? He shouldn't be. Almost everyone put on the same lap time. Uh-oh. This is going to be interesting. Do we have pit stops incoming? The field is back together. No one else pits this time. How long can they run? Hauk to the front. Estes and Bradley Wright. 1, 2, 3 for the Bluegrass Bandits so far. Withers in 4th. Brewster in 5th. Belleville 6th. Then it's Jason Alexander, Jacob Blankenship, and Kevin Feimster 7th through 9th. 10th is John Smeal at the moment, trying to keep it away from Joshua Gaiman. Longenecker comes in. Wanzing comes in. Catania and Kerr are a lap down. Thomas Andrews pit. He is still on the lead lap, albeit barely. He is the last car on the lead lap at the moment. Wanzing and Longenecker, they just exited pit lane. So they should safely stay on the lead lap. Six laps to go. And it begins again. Alexander and Brewster. The 00 in the 53 on the outside lane. Doing a little bit of side drafting, but not too much. Spoke way too soon. That was contact between Brewster and Estes. It separated the inside line. Checked them up. Brewster's going to try to go to the race lead here. But he's got no help. He has zero help right now. Now it's going to get wild. We're coming to 5 laps to go. Brewster's still trying to side draft a little bit, trying to reduce the amount of time he's going to lose here. That's DiMercurio that just went a lap down, exiting pit lane. Almost pulled a Kevin LePage. Catania back in pit lane. He has the penalty. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. This one's not over by a long shot. It's Hauk, Wright, Withers, Brewster. Estes has dropped down to 5th. Wright on the outside lane. Hauk to the inside lane. Brewster on the outside. Estes on the outside. There's 4 Bluegrass Bandits cars in the top 6, but they're split between the inside and outside lanes. And the outside lane's the one that's moving. Wright leads that lap, 4 to go. And they're put together enough that where they can kind of just jump across this front line. And they're going to pick up the draft of Thomas Andrews. Brewster moves to the bottom. Did he just... Oh, no, he didn't. Bradley Wright got it there to him. But Brewster about jumped to the bottom before Wright did. And that would have been disaster for Bluegrass Bandits to have 4 cars in the top 5 and none of them win. That would have been absolute chaos. It still could be. Brewster's in the best spot. Belleville's in conversation. So is Thomas Withers in that number 6 machine. Jason Alexander in 85. 3 to go. Who's going to win the Talladega 249? That is the big question. Wright's leading, but it's Brewster on debut, proving to be a massive handful. Again, all the cars with the red numbers have not yet won a race this season. Brewster's on his debut. Alexander and Wright could both lock themselves into the chase here, into the playoffs. Brewster to the lead. Cars come in, they can't make it. A bunch of cars just came into pit lane. Splash and dash to get to the race end. It's Brewster and Estes in Withers top 3. Ray, Gabbard, Pinnell, and Sears, the next 4 cars in line. 2.5 seconds behind this lead trio. They couldn't make it to the end of the race. Oh, Lord dearie me. And Brewster, oh, Brewster's out. Brewster's out of fuel. Brewster's out of fuel. Does Estes have enough? Does Estes and Withers have enough? Oh, good lord, they do not! In comes Estes! And a yellow comes out! And a yellow comes out! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! We're gonna have an overtime finish. And I don't know why the yellow came out. We'll have to look at that in a second. Oh my goodness. Thomas Andrews will be the first car on the first car off the lead lap, so he will get the lucky dog. That'll put us 18 cars on the lead lap. Granted, I believe that all the cars that are lapped down will get a wave around because they already pit. And now they've got to try to make it to the finish here. We were about to see the white flag, and the caution came out. For Withers, this has to be either a godsend or a nightmare. He is trying to save fuel here. Just try to make it to pit lane. Harry Gabbard could not. He's going to have to start at the end of the line. Because he entered a closed pit lane to take fuel. He had to take emergency service. Withers makes it to pit lane. Andrews will get the lucky dog. And I believe a lot of wave rounds will be coming. What a Saved by the Bell moment. I'm trying to hunt to see if we can find what brought out the yellow. But I'm not seeing anything on my screen that would have brought the yellow out. We know that Bruce ran out of fuel. Unless he ran out of fuel and ended up not being able to get off track, that's the only thing I can see that possibly drew the yellow. Brewster is still on pit lane. He's not out of this race yet. There's going to be a lot of cars that might get wave rounds here. Davey Houck is the race leader. With the 3 cars in front of him, we'll get wave rounds here. Andrews did not get a lucky dog, I don't believe, because he's still sitting in front of the race leader. So he did not get a lucky dog here. So I'm not sure what happened there. But they will get wave rounds. They will rejoin at the end of the line, and they will be back on the lead lap. So we will have... we'll have a lot of cars. Toby Estes ran out of fuel. He could not make it back to pit lane. So he's out of contention here. Instead of taking the penalty for getting emergency service, he ran out of fuel trying to make it without taking a penalty, which would have just put him at the back of the field. Because that's where Gabbard's going to end up being, is at the back of the field. I don't think I can sit down for this. I really don't think I can sit down for this. This is going to get interesting. Wave arounds have happened. Catania will get a wave around. But Catania is multiple laps down. Andrews got a lap back, and I believe so did James Kerr. Yeah, James Kerr got a lap back as well. So it's Hauk, Smeal, Wright, Longenecker, Feemster, Wansing, top 6, all of which would like a race win to lock themselves in to the A-squared playoffs that begin in August. You've got to be kidding. This is wild. There will be 19 cars on the lead lap. When we go back racing, we are under the first overtime finish attempt. We have up to 3 that we can use to try to make this race finish under green. Once the leader takes the white flag, once the leader has started the final lap, the next flag ends the race. If a caution comes out before that point, we'll rack them up and do it again. 19 cars trying to either get some bonus points for the playoffs or trying to lock themselves into the playoffs with what will be 10 races left in the regular season. The time for action is now. If someone's going to lock themselves in, the best opportunity is in these 3 laps. This overtime finish can be the gateway to the postseason. Hauk, Smeal, Wright, Longenecker, Feemster, Wansing, Alexander, all have not yet won a race. The green flag is back in the air. The overtime finish attempt is underway here at Talladega. Appreciate the raid from Podium Esports coming in. Smeal almost got turned by teammates. The 25 almost turned to 50. Podium Esports, we appreciate the raid. Hopefully your event went well. We're hoping ours finishes well. 3 wide and 2 rows further back. It's side by side at the front of the field. Hauk and Wright leading the way. Wansing, the 2-time defending A-squared champion, trying to get himself locked into the playoffs. But his teammates won too. Watch out, watch out, watch out! Oh, it's gonna uncork. All I have to do is get to the white flag. White flag's in the air, 1 lap to go. The next lap is the last lap. And there's the trouble. Calvert and Kerr at the back of the field. They somehow save it. The 25 doesn't. But it's back to the front. And there's another car spun. Belleville spun out. Nobody's lifting. Who's going to win this race? Wansing to the front. This is the finish for the Talladega 249. It's Wansing right at the front, way on the outside lane. It's going to get the race win. It's going to be a 4-1 finish. Tom Sears does it. Tom Sears wins at Talladega. Tom Sears locks himself in, and they crash coming to the line. Holy cow. Tom Sears for Team Outlaw. First race win of the season. He leads the Indy ARCS championship standings. And now he is guaranteed a spot in the A-squared Cup playoffs later this fall. What a finish. What a finish. How about that? Wow. Everyone giving Sears some congratulations there. What a good run. You see several of the Team Outlaw cars there. It's Sears, there's Painter against the wall. That's Donald Ray against the wall as well. All three of them on the podium as well. Painter finished second, Donald Ray finished third. Seth Wansing, so close. So close, yet so far. Fourth place for Seth Wansing. His time's coming. Josh Gaiman finished fifth. Jacob Blankenship finished sixth. John Smeal, Riley Wright, Davey Helk, and Jason Alexander. Those three cars at the end of the top 10, all Bluegrass Bandits who looked so competitive all race long, and it just fell apart in the last lap. But there's Tom Sears, your race winner here in Talladega. This will be the last time this season that number is red and white. Next week it'll be silver and black, as he'll be locked in. This was a big source of frustration for him. He had not yet won this season. It was so frustrating for him because he felt like something wasn't clicking. He was a contender all race long. Whoever he was pushing, wherever line he was in, was the line you wanted to be in. And the line you wanted to be in was the line that he made on the tri-oval on the last lap. What a finish. Absolute insanity. Again, Tom Sears, race winner here at Talladega, ahead of Dustin Painter and Donald Ray. Phenomenal, phenomenal race. You see the order on the side of your screen. We're going to have post-race interviews here in just a moment, I believe. Joshua Gavin, 12th, 5th in the last lap. Absolutely. Not a bad shout at all amid all that chaos. It was a 4-wide run to the line. Just absolute insanity. Absolute craziness. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was just pandemonium. I believe that's a Team Outlaw 1, 2, 3 as well. Alrighty. We'll start with Dustin Painter here. Dustin Painter is the first one available for a post-race interview here. So we're going to interview him. He finished second place. Let's see if we can talk to all three in the podium here. But we'll start with Dustin Painter. Hey, Dustin, this is Clinton from the ARX Racing booth. You got a copy?
Got you loud and clear, bud.
What a finish! What a race! The emotions on that one. You were 4 wide at one point in that finish. Just how crazy was it? And who were you following there at the end to try to get up there?
I was pushing the crap out of my teammate, Lurkin Tom and Jacket. I was pushing them as hard as I could right there. Kind of got into Elliott right there. Not trying to, just super speedway. Got him, just wrecked him. Sorry about that. Hate that I did that. But was just really going to try to go with them to the top and then just try to make a move at the very end. Just didn't have enough momentum.
So obviously, yeah, you think about Team Outlaw, first 1, 2, 3 of the season. Now we've seen it from Bluegrass, we've seen it from Sideswipe, now we've seen it with Team Outlaw. Team effort seemed to be the name of the game there. How important was it being able to communicate there? Obviously, we didn't have green flag pit stops really hardly at all. Just being able to kind of coordinate runs, how important was that for you all to sort of just put that together, and especially at the end there when nobody knew what was going on?
Yeah, we knew what we wanted to do on that last restart, go to the high side. I was way back there. I came from nowhere pretty much to get back up there, but knew that if I could get to the top, and as soon as I saw Lurkin, I was just going to shove the living crap out of him to get him up there to try to get to Jacket. And then all of a sudden we had a run on Jacket, and I just stayed with Lurkin to push him. Probably the right move to do to get me second. If I try to dip down and pass them two, I'm probably going back to 6th or 7th.
Yeah, that's something that we noticed. Like, the outside lane was the place you wanted to be. Was it always the place you wanted to be? Was the outside lane, or was the inside ever workable?
Oh no, the inside lane just stacked so much that it was just hard to do anything. You wanted to be on the very outside. That's where the runs were going. But I tried the inside lane half the race, and it was just awful. But I usually use my strategy, lay in the back, and just wait, and then when it's time to go, it's time to go.
Well, your teammates have joined the broadcast booth here, Donald Ray and Tom Sears. It's an all team outlaw podium there. Donald Ray, you won at Daytona. Team Outlaw still sweeping the Super Speedways at the moment, but third place, you're leading coming into the Tri-Oval. Watching your teammates be able to go by you and watching him just be your teammates, is there any sort of consolation knowing that it's just you three at the top, knowing that it could have easily not been?
Wanted that win bad, but if I couldn't win it, then I wouldn't want anybody else in the field to win it besides Larkin. Man, that dude gets more bad luck in these races than anybody in the field, and he deserved this one. And we are super, super excited that he's going to for sure join us in the playoffs now. So, man, it was a good race. Started in the front, ran up front for a while, got caught up, got a speeding penalty, went to the back, got in a wreck, or got caught up in a wreck. And man, I just knew with our team and the way that we raced together that we'd all be back up front, and we did. It's unfortunate for Tommy. He ended up going a lap down, but it was a good showing for us for sure.
Absolutely. Like you looked at, I mentioned going into the broadcast that it's going to be a team thing. Obviously, you had Sideswipe, you had the Bluegrass Bandits, and then you had Team Outlaw, which hadn't really had a large representation in the winners' column up to this point, right? Obviously, you've won twice. Dustin's been in the mix. Tom's been in the mix, but it's been a struggle to sort of step in and sort of be consistent there. With a race like this where teammates is so important, being able to get that 1, 2, 3, I think Sideswipe's done it once, so to be the second team to do that, how, I guess, knowing that teamwork is so efficient, how good is having that team chemistry? How comforting is knowing that team chemistry means everything here, knowing that it's going to be a factor in the playoffs too.
Yeah. I mean, our team, I wouldn't trade anybody on our team for any of those other guys. I mean, everybody on our team's super chill. We're, for the most part, pretty calm the entire race. We've got Tommy there. He's not the senior of the group, but he acts like the senior sometimes and keeps us all calm. But I mean, you hit it exactly right. I mean, having a good team with people that you trust, not only people you trust, but also people that are fast is very important, especially at tracks like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it shows. Being able to be that 1, 2, 3, you guys were lined up, nose astern. If anyone was going to beat the Bluegrass Bandits crew, it was going to be you guys today, and you guys knocked it out of the park. Absolutely phenomenal. Tom, you got a copy?
Copy.
All right, Tom. At this point, I've seen you so many times up here, but to actually be able to interview you for the race win, very, very special. Tom, how you feeling? The monkey's off your back now.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I didn't get a win in the last season at TNT, and I felt pretty bad about not grabbing one, and I was getting worried about this season of A Squared. No win yet. So the biggest thing really here that I could say is I can thank my teammates, Donald Ray, Dustin Painter, also James Kerr, Jonathan Holmbrick, and Thomas Andrews, the mastermind. So all those guys throughout the race, we all worked together, and we were pushing that high side at the end there. We were all mid pack. None of us were at the front on that restart, so I wasn't sure how it was gonna go. And Donald Ray finally got some daylight. I just pushed the hell out of him, and pushing, and seeing what would come of it. And we got clear, and the upper lane was still there, so I'm gonna take it, and it all worked out. But none of that at the end would have happened if our teamwork wasn't the way it was. Staying patient and waiting for the right time to strike.
Absolutely, Tom. You were the most persistent force in the field. It seemed like wherever lane you were at was the lane that was moving, whether it was the bottom or the top. You were pushing everyone to the front at one point. It seemed like if you wanted someone to sort of hitch along with, you had to look for that number 14. How did you get so persistent up there at the front? Because it seemed like you would go back and then you just move forward. Like you were constantly going back and forth. how easy was it to generate those runs for you? Like, was it just figuring it out, or were there people you wanted to work with and you were just able to get to them quicker?
I mean, I do look for my teammates. We're always looking for each other and then generate runs off each other. But at the same time, you know, I know everyone wants to protect their cars and get through the race, but I don't really love running single file the whole race. You know, I want to have some fun and not crash. So I try to get some runs and maybe show some people in the field that I'm not afraid to try, get risky out there. And even if I fall back in the field, I'm still willing to get out of line and try and move up if possible. So I feel like that might help me. I'm definitely not known as the plate racer, but low key, I kind of have a good feel for it. So paid off tonight, which was pretty cool. That's my first plate win in a long time in ARC, so that was really cool.
Hey, and you
Yeah.
got someone that you kind of able to kind of bounce off of with Donner Ray, our Daytona race winner. You guys are
Yeah.
keeping these play races within the Team Outlaw stable there. That being said, you all had a phenomenal race. Again, a 1-2-3 for Team Outlaw there. Obviously, all three of you are teammates, so collectively, if you have anyone you want to shout out to, I know Tom's energy sponsor there, but if there's anyone you want to shout out, anyone you want to say thank you to, we had a lot of people tune in tonight, so the floor is yours, guys. You earned it. A podium sweep for Team Outlaw.
Yeah, I'll just start right off the bat with you, Clayton. Thank you for doing all these streams. I always hope that we can put on a good show for you and all the people that tune in. That's really, that's our main goal here at ARCS is to put on a good show for the people that tune in, and we appreciate you broadcasting these. Obviously, Team Outlaw, all the teamwork we did today and throughout the season, it's nice to see it kind of pay off in a top 3 sweep. I got a new sponsor, 213 Simware. They make a lot of great sim gear, shirts, hats, cups, posters, you name it. They make a bunch of stuff for a whole bunch of different drivers, many different leagues on iRacing. So that's a new partnership. Really happy to put this car in victory lane. That's a huge deal. Just everyone everyone here at ARCS, the whole league, we do a lot of races all the time, and just so much going on. We have such a busy schedule, and there's a whole admin team. Jeremy Brialt was doing race control tonight. He did a great job. Obviously, Ryan Pennell, Seth, they're the owner and the admin. So just really happy to be part of this league and part of this Outlaw team. It's a great time.
Donald, Dustin, anything you guys want to add? Because you all did a phenomenal job tonight.
I think he summed it up. Clayton, we do appreciate you. We know it takes a lot of time to do these, and it can be frustrating sometimes, but man, you do a great job, and we're glad that you put it out there for not only our family, but your family and all of our friends to watch, and it gives us something to do later.
Yeah, I'd like to just thank Team Outlaw. It's fun to race with them. My sponsor, Liberty University, a great university and everything that they do. So overall, that's who I'd like to thank.
Well, you all did a phenomenal job. You got a very fun race tonight. One of the, I think, most viewed races we've had all season. So shout out to everyone at home that watched and tuned in on the Sunday evening. Happy Father's Day to everybody. I know that's a big thing. Typically, we don't race a Father's Day weekend, but what a way to celebrate. But congrats to all three of you. Podium sweep. Can't wait to see what you guys do next week at Nashville.
Thank you, Clayton. Thanks for the stream, and happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there, including all you guys. Yeah.
Absolutely. Congrats, guys. Have a good night. Alrighty. So we're going to look at that finish before we go over the results here. Absolutely phenomenal work by the Team Outlaw crew. So looking on your screen here, the Outlaw crew, the 5, the 14, the 65, which are on the outside of your screen, they're the ones that end up rounding out the podium here. You see Davey Howcom, the 21, he's in the center there. And then Jacob Blankenship on the bottom in the 85. We're going to watch this restart because it was insanity. So here's what it looks like. They're working together. Wanzing on the bottom with Blankenship on his inside. Just push, push, push. This is coming to the checkered flag. And the pandemonium goes wild. Sears sees some daylight, goes for it. You see the 20 of Hohenbrink? He was not on the lead lap. He was just kind of following suit. But that was how Tom Sears won that race. Absolute pandemonium there. See if we can get a good picture of that margin of victory. There you go. Margin of victory there between Tom Sears and Dustin Painter. And that's what it looked like. Again, the 20 of Jonathan Hohenbrink, not on the lead lap. So you'd have to look at Donald Ray, who finished third, ahead of Joshua Gaiman and Seth Wansing. And it was that close. Actually, Wansing finished fourth, over Gaiman. But phenomenal stuff. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Tom Sears, fantastic guy. Happy to see him win a race here in A Squared. His first race win of the season. Locked himself into the A Squared playoffs. The caution that caused the green-white checker that ended up causing that finish was for Mark Brewster and Terry Gabbard. Both of them wrecked each other. I believe the double zero was running out of fuel, and the four... we don't have it pulled up. We don't have it mentioned on our incident tab, so we can't just quick jump to it. But I believe the four got loose and tagged him, and both of them spun up into traffic, and that's why the yellow came out. But it didn't pop up on our incident screen, so we don't have any cameras on it. But that's how that caution came out, and it seems like that's being investigated. At least it looks like it's being investigated. So if any information that comes out of that, if any, will come later in the week. That being said, we are going to go over the official results, or the unofficial results, here at Talladega. The Talladega 249, race 16 of 36. It's Team Outlaw 1, 2, 3, with Seth Wansey for Team Sideswipe sitting in fourth. Josh Gaiman sits fifth, then it's Jacob Blankenship, John Smeal, Bradley Wright, Davey Halk, and Jason Alexander in the top 10. Bluegrass Bandits so close, led so many laps in this race between Wright, between Halk, between Toby Estes, Jason Alexander. All four of them led laps. But the best they could manage at the end of that race was 8th place. Tommy Withers, Kevin Feemster make up 11th and 12th. Ryan Pinnell, one of the more unlucky guys in this race, had enough fuel to make it to the end of the race, had it finished under green without the overtime finish. Ended up being thrown backwards, was not in the conversation when they went back to green for that overtime finish, ends up 13th. Eric DiMercurio, on his debut, finishes 14th, the best of the debutantes in this race. James Kerr, our Fontana race winner, sitting in 15th. Terry Gabbard will finish 16th in that race. Noah Belleville got turned on the last lap, came home in 17th. Thomas Andrews finished 18th after getting turned, I think after taking the white flag lap there. Going through the rest of the field, you got Elliot Longenecker for team Sideswipe. Tristan Catania in 20th. He'll round out the top 20. Mark Brewster on debut ran out of fuel. Will end up being collected by Terry Gabbard in an accident. Finished one lap down. Toby Estes ended up a lap down as well, having run out of fuel under caution and having to be towed back. Jonathan Hohenbrink finished 23rd, took 24th away from Joshua Garrison. And Patrick Allen did not start this event, and therefore was classified as a did not start for this race. That was Talladega in a nutshell. Between now and early September, there will be 2 more of those plate races. Daytona in August, and in September with Talladega in the playoffs. Next week, we come to you from Nashville Super Speedway, race 17 to 26. 10 races left in the regular season. For those that have not locked themselves in, points are getting close, and you're running out of time to get some race wins under your belt. So who's going to be the next one to get their first win of the season? Is it Dustin Painter? Is it Seth Wansing? John Smeal? Bradley Wright? Davey Halk? A lot of good faces that have not yet won a race this season, trying to break through at some point before the playoffs begin. But for everyone that tuned in for Podium Esports, thank you for the raid. That was greatly appreciated. Hope you all enjoyed the finish of that race. Congratulations to Tom Sears and Team Outlaw for a 1-2-3 finish. The second time that's happened this season. The first time was at Las Vegas with Team Sideswipe early in the season. But for everyone that tuned in, we appreciate you spending your Father's Day Sunday evening with us, wherever you are in the world. until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, try to have fun, try to enjoy your week. It is going to be the dog days of summer here very soon. But on behalf of ARX, on behalf of ARX Racing Networks, I'm Clayton Hardy. We'll see you at Nashville next week.